can't think of a time when I felt it was more important for us to defeat an incumbent president than today with respect to Barack Obama. I think he has been an unmitigated disaster for the country. I think to be in a position where he gets 4 more years in the White House to continue the policies he has, both with respect to the economy and tax policy and defense and so many other areas, would be a huge disappointment.
My last election, yeah. After my election, I have more flexibility.
Yeah, I understand. I transmit this information to Vladimir and understand what
going to be a major problem for him going into this election campaign. I think the American people recognize that the policies that he promoted when he first came to office, the idea of a stimulus package and so forth, clearly haven't produced any significant results. And we've got a high rate of unemployment. We've got millions of Americans out of work who badly need to find jobs. We need, I think, to adopt an aggressive growth policy that promotes the expansion of the private sector and the creation of wealth, creation of jobs, creations of opportunities for people. And so far, he hasn't been able to provide that.
You start looking around, you realize that mixed in with gas is oil in places like the shale of western Pennsylvania, the shale of eastern Ohio. That particular strip runs all the way from Buffalo, New York, down to Dallas, Texas. You begin to realize that the United States will probably, by the end of this decade, with any kind of leadership, we will produce more oil by the end of the decade than Russia or Saudi Arabia. We will be the largest oil-producing country in the world. That has 4 immediate, powerful effects. 1, you create lots of jobs. If we were to create an American energy industry using all of our potential sources and maximize our independence of the world producing energy, you create well over 1 million new high-paying jobs, producing very, very sophisticated things, earning a really good living. So the jobs part would be pretty good. Second, because you pay royalties if you get oil and gas out of federal land or offshore, the estimate by one of the people who developed North Dakota is that over the next generation we would earn as a government between 16 and 18 trillion, not billion, trillion dollars in royalties. That's slightly larger than the current national debt.
Do you think he's in over his head? Do you think he was ready for this job? Do you think he's understands the economy as you watch him make decisions? You've been there, you know, since your 30s in Washington, and you've held many, many positions, Chief of Staff, Vice President, Secretary of Defense. When you look at the President, watch him make his moves, what do you think about him?
Well, I was surprised. I remember going out to campaign for his opponent when he first ran for the Senate, and his opponent withdrew from the race. I don't think because I campaigned for him.
Yeah.
Ryan?
Jack Ryan, yes.
Jack Ryan, I think. But he ended up virtually unopposed in that first Senate race. Alan Keyes, I guess, ran against him, but
came in late. Yeah.
Token opposition. Then came down. I swore him in. That's one of the jobs of the vice president, to swear in new senators. And the next thing I knew, he was running for president. He had not served very long not even a term in the U.S. Senate. His experience before that was focused primarily on the state legislature in Illinois, and I didn't see the kind of executive experience or national level experience that I would have expected in somebody I was comfortable supporting.
All of you should be very deeply concerned about national security. Barack Obama is the most dangerous president in modern American history. Someone was arrested over the weekend for trying to blow up the U.S. Capitol. They happen to be from Morocco. Under the Obama administration's willful dishonesty, it would be highly inappropriate to describe what motivated them, because that would be somehow politically incorrect. Now, imagine in 1946, we had tried to describe the Soviet Union and the government had said you're not allowed to use the word communist. Now, I mean, any honest person knows what motivated somebody who came here. And this is not smearing everybody. This is not Islamophobia. If we can't have an honest conversation about radical Islamists, and we can't figure out there is a very specific group of people across the planet. These are not Norwegian Rotarians. There's a very specific desire to kill us. There's a desire to destroy our civilization. Look, churches are being burned in Nigeria. Churches are being burned in Egypt. The fact is that there were people who represent a minority sect of Islam who were being killed in Indonesia. Across the planet today, the forces of religious repression are on the march, and this administration has intellectually disarmed. It is morally disarmed. It is incapable of describing what threatens us. When somebody who's a major in the U.S. Army jumps up at Fort Hood, yells Allahu Akbar, kills 13 Americans and wounds 30, carries in his wallet something that says Warrior of Allah, and we write a report which doesn't even reference radical Islam, that is willfully dishonest, and then we adopt a budget based on that dishonesty. So the President wants to unilaterally weaken the United States. He wants to cut the aid to Israel for its anti-ballistic missile defense. He refuses to take Iran seriously. We are in a world that is very dangerous. And I say this to those of you who represent the next generation because you're going to bear the consequences. We are really at risk someday in your lifetime of losing an American city.
My last election.
Yeah, I
After
understand.
my election, I have more flexibility. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I transmit this information to Vladimir and understand.